Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to crack open the user manual for your own brain. We're talking about turning some pretty cool psychological insights into simple, practical tools. You know, stuff you can actually use every single day. So let's just dive right in. I mean, what if you knew a few little secrets, kind of like backstage passes for your own mind? Simple tricks that can make your conversations flow better, boost your mood, and maybe even make those good habits finally stick.
Well, that is exactly what we're going to do today. We're unpacking some powerful, research-backed psychological facts that are, well, they're basically a toolkit for personal growth. So, let's get started.
All right, first up, hacking your social connections. Let's talk about how you can instantly make your interactions with other people better. And I mean, simple, subtle shifts that can make a huge difference in how people respond to you.
Okay, this first hack, it's called the chameleon effect. And it's all about the power of, subtly mirroring people. Think of it like a social glue. It's this deep, evolutionary thing that signals, hey, I'm like you can trust me. So if someone leans in, you might lean in a little bit too. Or if they use a specific word, you can kind of echo it back. Our brains do this without us even thinking about it, but you can also do it on purpose. It's a really powerful way to make people feel comfortable and understood, like almost instantly.
Now this is probably one of the simplest and, honestly, most effective hacks out there. Remember and use someone's name when you're talking to them. It's literally music to their ears. It makes them feel seen, it makes them feel important, and it gets them way more connected to whatever you're saying.
So here you can see the psychology of choice in action. Instead of just giving a command, which, let's be honest, almost always creates resistance, you offer a choice. But it's a choice that leads to the same outcome you wanted anyway. See what's happening? It gives the other person a sense of control, which makes them way more likely to agree. It's a classic parenting trick that, it totally works on adults too. Okay, dealing with difficult conversations. Here are two super powerful tools. First, the power of silence. Seriously, if a conversation hits a wall, just ask a question, and then just wait. People have this natural urge to fill the silence. It's amazing. And second, if things get a little heated, offer food. I'm not kidding. It is almost impossible to stay mad while you're eating. It's this primal, calming thing that can de-escalate a tense situation in a heartbeat. Okay, so we've talked about interacting with others. Now, for this next part, let's turn the focus inward, to ourselves. Because mastering your own inner world, your mood, your perception, that is a total game changer for your quality of life. For sure.
This is so fascinating. A study back in 2011 found that what you hear literally primes what you see. So if you listen to happy music, your brain starts actively looking for positive things around you. But if you listen to sad music, you'll start noticing all the negatives. It's called perceptual expectation. In other words, your brain finds what it's expecting to find. Think about that. You can basically curate your own reality just by changing your playlist.
And here's a super direct way to use that. Let's say you're feeling anxious about a big meeting or presentation. Singing along to your favorite song? That's not just a distraction. It's physically changing your brain chemistry. Your brain releases oxytocin, that's the connection hormone, and that lowers your heart rate, cuts your stress, and leaves you feeling way more calm and confident.
10 minutes. That's it. That's all it takes. And look, this isn't about getting a tan or anything like that. This is about resetting your brain with a quick, daily dose of direct sunlight. And the reason why this works is purely biological. The vitamin D you get from sunlight acts like a natural mood stabilizer. It helps your brain produce those feel-good pleasure hormones. It's such a simple, basic need, and it helps explain why people who live in less sunny places can sometimes experience higher rates of depression. All right, let's bring all these insights inward again. So now that we know a little more about managing our interactions and our mood, let's get into the mechanics of building better habits and, just having better self-awareness. This quote, it really captures the heart of something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And the paradox is this: the more you actually know about something, the more you realize how much you don't know. So if you find yourself doubting yourself sometimes, take it as a good sign. Seriously, it's often a marker of real intelligence and that drive to just keep on learning.
Yeah, we all like to think we're great multitaskers, right? But neuroscience kind of says, nope, your brain isn't actually doing two complex things at once. It's just switching its focus back and forth really, really fast. And that's exactly why trying to, say, read an important email while you're watching TV, it just doesn't work. You're not doing both things well, you're just doing both things poorly.
Okay,
66 days. And I want you to forget everything you've ever heard about it taking 21 days to form a habit. That was pretty much a myth. Real neuroscientific research shows that, on average, it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. And this is so important because it just sets a realistic expectation, you know?
And you really need to pay attention to this middle phase here. Look, the first few weeks are tough just because it's new. But that second chunk of time, around day 23 to day 44, that's the danger zone. That's where most people give up. The novelty has worn off, right? But the habit isn't automatic yet. If you can just push through that high-risk zone, you get to the final stage where momentum starts to take over and the habit finally sticks.
Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From social hacks all the way to brain chemistry. So the big question is, where do you even start? How do you actually apply any of this to your life?
This quote from the Dalai Lama is just the perfect principle to start with. So here's a little challenge for you. In your very next conversation, try this. Make a real, conscious effort to listen more than you talk. Ask questions. Make the other person feel like they are the most interesting person in the room. Not only will you build a way stronger connection, but I guarantee you'll almost certainly learn something new.
And that brings us right to the end. So think about everything we've just talked about. And please, don't try to do it all at once. Just pick one. What's the one small thing you'll do differently tomorrow? Will you make a point to use someone's name? Will you sing in the car on your way to work? Or will you just be a little more patient with that new habit you're trying to build? Choosing that one small hack, well, that's the first step to unlocking a better, more intentional you.